At every step in life, we often find ourselves trapped in the shadows of invisible boundaries, beliefs that we perceive as reality, but in truth, they are merely illusions created by our own minds. We are taught to believe that our intelligence, abilities, and potential are fixed, as if they were predetermined from birth. But what if we were told that everything we perceive as a limitation is not an unchangeable destiny, but rather part of a journey that we can redesign? What if we were given the opportunity to erase the lines between what we think is possible and what we can actually achieve? Within our minds lies the key to breaking free from these shackles, a small change in the way we think that can open an unlimited world before our eyes. This is a journey toward understanding that everything from failure to success can be seen in an entirely new way, a journey toward a mindset that not only affects what we achieve but also how we experience it. Michel had once lived in the shadow of invisible boundaries, going through his days with structured and safe routines. However, within him, there was a dissonance, a restlessness he couldn't quite place. The world around him kept moving forward, while he felt stuck in the same habits, unable to move beyond them. To him, everything seemed predetermined by talent or circumstance, something impossible to change. That was until one day, a seemingly ordinary encounter altered the course of his life forever. On a scorching afternoon in an unremarkable corner of a cafe, Michel met a middle-aged man absorbed in a thick book. The man seemed entirely focused on the words printed on the pages. Michel, with an insatiable curiosity, approached him and struck up a conversation. Without saying much, the man handed over the book he was reading. It was Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol S. Dweck. At first, Michel was skeptical. He thought he already knew enough about himself. However, as he began to delve into the contents of the book, the world he knew began to look different. This book was not just a theory. He soon realized that there were two ways of thinking that determined how a person approached life: the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. In deep silence, Michel read about the fixed mindset, a perspective that limits human ability. It is a mindset that views intelligence and capability as fixed, unchangeable traits. Failure, for those with a fixed mindset, is a mirror of permanent inability. He recalled moments when he chose not to try something new out of fear of failure. Michel felt trapped in this reality, a fear that controlled every step he took. However, on the next page he discovered the concept of the growth mindset, a way of thinking that opened up limitless horizons. In the growth mindset, failure is part of the journey, a chance to learn and grow. With this understanding, Michel realized that potential is not something innate, but something that can be shaped, developed, and enhanced through sustained effort. Having often heard the inner voice whispering about his incapacity and limitations, Michel now began to question his beliefs. If the great people in history who were considered extraordinary could develop through persistence and effort, why should he consider himself any different? In the quiet of his mind, he absorbed this concept that he was not bound by the limitations he had once believed. That day at his workplace, Michel felt a strong urge to take the first step. A major project he had previously avoided now appeared as a challenge to embrace, not a hurdle to evade. He knew that success required more than just talent. It demanded a willingness to struggle, fail, and try again. With this newfound understanding, he began to strategize, not for instant results, but for ongoing progress. Every mistake was not a sign of failure, but proof that he was moving forward. Michel began to shift his mindset, not just in his work, but also in his personal life. Every interaction, every challenge, and even every criticism he received, he faced with a new perspective. A process he had once considered daunting, he now viewed as an opportunity to hone his skills. A discussion with a colleague that used to require him to maintain his self-image now became fertile ground for growth. Criticism, which he once saw as a personal attack, became fuel for improvement. However, this journey was not easy. There were moments when fatigue crept in, when doubts began to cloud his mind. Like everyone else, Michel also felt the urge to give up. But in the silence of the night, as he reflected on the principles from the book, he realized that in the growth mindset, fatigue is not the end. It is part of the process. Just as a sculptor adds every stroke to shape a masterpiece, so too was he. Every obstacle was an opportunity to carve himself into something better. Over time, Michel began to experience real changes within himself. The courage to take risks, once almost unthinkable, had now become part of his identity. Every decision he made was no longer constrained by the fear of failure. Instead, he felt more confident, knowing that every step he took, even if wrong, would bring valuable lessons. At a certain point, Michel realized that the lessons he had learned were not just for himself. In the discussions he attended, he began to share his mental journey, encouraging others to change the way they viewed the world. "There are no limits for us," he said to a hesitant colleague. "What seems impossible today can become reality if we keep trying." Michel's life had now become a journey not defined by the end result, but by the process, lived with full awareness. Every challenge that came was met with curiosity, every failure seen as a stepping stone to deeper understanding. The world no longer felt limiting but full of limitless possibilities. With every step he took, Michel knew one thing for certain. The boundaries he had once felt were nothing but illusions, and with a growth mindset, he was capable of achieving more than he had ever imagined. He no longer felt confined by his past, but increasingly believed that he held full control over his future. The world, to him, was an unlimited field to grow in. If you currently feel trapped in the illusion of comfort, remember that your greatest potential will never unfold in a zone that doesn't challenge you to change. The courage to change your thinking is the first step toward true freedom. There is nothing more liberating than knowing that every failure is fuel for greater success, and every challenge is an opportunity to leave a deeper mark. Don't let your mind become a prison that traps your dreams. Remember, the world doesn't wait, but if you dare to reshape your perspective, that world will open up in ways you never imagined. This is a call to change the narrative of your life, to alter the way you see yourself in the world. Grow not because the world demands it, but because you realize that your capacity to evolve knows no limits. If the insights you've just encountered have given deeper meaning, don't let this journey end here. Without me saying it, you already know what I mean. See you in the next video.